There was a bump in the road for the government last week as it seeks to lift its flagging poll rating, which in the latest news poll has Labor's primary vote at just 31%. Last Wednesday, on a day that the government ought to have been celebrating a monthly inflation figure of 2.7%, also a reduction in the mean trim rate of inflation to 3.4%, it didn't turn out to be a great news day for the government. First, the Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock had spoiled the party on Tuesday by saying any drop in inflation was, quote, temporary, unquote, and some sort of artificial result of the government's cost of living relief. In other words, it would not affect the bank in terms of a possible interest rate cut, the figure. But even more distracting was a story which came from government sources in the 9 newspapers on Wednesday morning, claiming the government was looking at going to the election with a policy to alter the tax deductions on investment property known as negative gearing. It's since been confirmed that Treasury has prepared advice to this effect. Now, in March, Sky News revealed that a Freedom of Information request for advice to Treasurer Jim Chalmers on changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax showed there were too many documents to go through. On Wednesday, it seemed the Prime Minister wasn't aware that this latest advice had been sought, but the Treasurer Jim Chalmers was. In fact, the Prime Minister hadn't discussed with his leadership group plans to reform negative gearing. The appearance of this negative gearing story on the day Mr Chalmers was leaving for China raised suspicions the Treasurer had flown a kite out there, as he did a couple of years ago in terms of possible changes to Stage 3 tax cuts. Some Labor sources are seeing this as a big own goal. There's no formal confirmation from the Treasurer he sought the advice, but at a press conference in Beijing, he certainly didn't deny that he sought the negative gearing advice.
When it comes to negative gearing changes, it is not unusual at all for governments or for treasurers to get advice on contentious issues which are in the public domain, including in the Parliament. It is not unusual for treasurers to do that. But we have made it very clear through the course of this week that we have a broad and ambitious housing policy already, and those changes aren't part of it.